Welcome to Education Today. I'm Kiara Ebig
And I'm Lucian Holian
of Katanning High School in the Armstrong School District. Tonight, we are going to continue with our new segment here at Education Today. We mentioned last week about how budgets are becoming tighter and tighter, and that faculty and staff alike need to continue to be creative in ways to stretch everything out in every dollar.
We've already discussed 2 grants that were awarded last year through the AHS-TV Foundation. And last week we spoke with trustees from the foundation itself. Twice a year, the AHS-TV Foundation accepts these grants. Application from any faculty or staff member who works in the Armstrong School District. Grants are submitted in May or the fall semester and in December for the winter semester. Tonight is week of our coverage of grants that were awarded during the 2011-2012 school year. Tonight we have 2 guests to talk with us about yet another innovative grant. Welcome to Education Today.
Welcome to Education Today. Would you please introduce yourselves and your current roles to the district?
I'm Dr. Shauna Braun-Zukowski, and I'm the Secondary Curriculum Coordinator and Federal Programs Coordinator.
And I'm Patrick Mulroy. I'm a computer science teacher at Ford City High School.
What is the name of your grant and when was it awarded to you?
We received a couple grants. We got the Armstrong Foundation grant 2 years in a row in 2011-12 and 12-13 for the $5,000 district-wide grant. And then we also received an RWAN grant from the IU, and all this is related to STEM technology.
What kind of grant did you apply for, and what students were impacted by it? Which schools and how many students?
We applied for the $5,000 district-wide grant, and that benefited students, juniors and seniors at all of the high schools.
Could you tell us a little about the grant that you wrote?
Mr. Mulroy and I worked together on this grant, and on this grant we talked about getting a STEM robotics course into the curriculum, where students could actually use mathematics and science and apply it to the computer aspect of a business course or programming. So that's what we wrote about, and we've done that 2 years in a row, and we're very successful in getting the grants, and the class can be successful as well. Mr. Mulroy could speak more on that.
Yeah, the class is fantastic. It has really seemed to have taken off, these grants. Without them, we wouldn't be able to have the materials that we currently have.
How did you come up with this idea?
Well, this idea kind of stems from years of discussing things with friends. We're fortunate enough to have 2 friends that went to Carnegie Mellon, and probably about 6 years ago, one of those turned me on to the Alice Project, which was developed by a late professor at CMU, Randy Posh, and from that kind of just kept me looking at what CMU had to offer. Another friend graduated from CMU and is a robotics engineer, and it kind of just said, hey, keep in touch with CMU, see what's going on. So always was able to see what they were doing just looking at their website, and then was fortunate enough to get some marketing material from Lego and happened to see a robotics curriculum that was developed by CMU. Did a little research. Dr. Zukowski and I had a conversation. I kind of showed her the pamphlet and said, what do you think of this? And it kind of took off from there.
Does this grant cover only your classes, or do multiple grades and teachers take advantage of them as well?
It goes to all the high schools, Katanning, West Shamokin, and Ford City. So there are 3 teachers currently teaching that. And we're looking to expand that into the tech ed department as well.
So this will now trickle over that it will be cross-curricular, the grant. So it won't only be the business and the computer science classes that are teaching, it'll be the technology education courses as well. So that was kind of our goal when we wrote it originally, was to expand it into a cross-curricular involvement to help to touch more kids.
Wow. How did the students react to this grant? Like, what were their thoughts, reactions?
As soon as I told my students about it, they were thrilled. Anytime that you talk about robotics, kids get excited about it, and they were pretty adamant that they were scheduling that class. So I think it went over well.
I think that also we got to offer it in all the buildings because there was enough interest in it. So when we put it into this course catalog, students signed up for it, which was what we wanted them to do, but I think next year it will even grow more because now they've had a year to see what's going on in the buildings.
Have you noticed the difference in the students' learning as far as picking up on concepts more quickly or things related to that?
Yeah, definitely. With robotics, just by nature, there's a little bit of a trial and error there. So you're kind of implementing the scientific process and doing tiny experiments over and over again. So you try one thing, if it doesn't work, you get the immediate feedback because the robot doesn't do what you expected. You go back to the computer, rewrite your program, and give it another try. So I definitely see students picking up on very complex programming concepts very quickly.
What was the grant writing process like? Have you done anything like this before?
The grant writing is something that I do for my job for federal programs, so I have done a lot of grant writing. But how Mr. Mulroy and I approached it, we worked collaboratively on it. I wrote some aspects of it, he wrote some aspects of it, and then we kept emailing back and forth and kind of defining to make it better. So that's how we did it, and it worked for us for 2 years, so it's been a positive experience.
What is the biggest benefit to having this grant awarded and instituted into your classes?
For me, it's to see the students excited about learning. They're definitely self-motivated in this class. It's also pretty interesting to get them excited about robotics careers and watching them develop that interest and look at what college and universities have to offer. So they're starting to plan out their future based off of this class, which is fantastic.
I also think the biggest benefit too, we're preparing kids for the workforce. Robotics and computers are what is out there. So, and I didn't think we had as much of that in our curriculum now. So I think we can broaden our horizons and hopefully grow from here.
Okay, thanks very much. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. Stick around.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name is Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. We're talking about grants awarded through the ASD Foundation. Tonight's grant is one that helped fund the new robotics course here at Armstrong School District.
Could you give us a little more detail into exactly what the robotics course is?
Sure. Well, the robotics course takes an approach using a Lego Mindstorms NXT robot. So it's built using what they call the brick, and it's essentially a computer that's a little bit bigger than an iPod, and it's connected using different Lego pieces with various motors to turn wheels and encoders, and then there's a variety of sensors on that robot. To write programs to control the robot, we're using a language called Robot C, which was developed by Carnegie Mellon University, and that is an industry standard programming language. If you know anything about programming, the majority of object-oriented programming languages are based off of the C language, like Java, for instance, was developed from C. So this is a programming language that the students can use in a variety of situations. It doesn't exactly just strictly apply to robotics.
What elements or aspects does the course cover?
The course covers 4 main concepts: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and I can throw in there programming as well. The students are implementing the scientific process daily whenever they're completing various challenges with the robots. The technology, they're building something new, something that hasn't been done before. Engineering, they're putting together these robots in a way to complete a task that is different on a daily basis. And obviously the mathematics, to do anything with a robot, you need to know some mathematics. For example, if you have a wheel, you know the circumference of the wheel. If you know that your motor turns 360 revolutions, if I turn my motor once, I know how far the robot will travel just based off of circumference. So they're applying mathematics in a real-world way.
What are some of the challenges associated with offering this course?
Some challenges that we had in order to offer this course is we had to have a lot of training for the course as well. And it's very technical training, and all the computer science teachers are professionals and have been trained in computer science aspects, but maybe not in this robotics aspect. So what we did is I wrote a grant for the RWAN grant and through the IU, and that brought Carnegie Mellon to our school district. And we had a day training in which they got to work hands-on with the computers and the experts from Carnegie Mellon. So that was a challenge for us because we didn't know if we were going to be able to do that. And in order for the course to go smoothly and people to be prepared for it, we had to have the experts come in and kind of teach us. And so it was a fun training, and they went over a lot of material, but we were fortunate enough to have CMU come work with us, and I think that collaboration did pay off, and I think we see that in the courses.
What are your future plans moving forward to?
Well, for the future, we hope to expand the curriculum for next year. We wrote the ASD Foundation grant again, and we're awarded it. And this year, we're going to put it into the Principles of Technology course as well, so that the two courses will now tie together, and we can expand, like I said earlier, to work cross-curricularly to have STEM initiatives with science and mathematics into some other course content areas. So we're excited for things to move forward and to keep progressing.
What were and are your goals for this grant?
Well, I'll speak to some of them, and then Mr. Mulroy can speak specifically from the classroom. I think as a secondary curriculum director, you want to help prepare students for their future. And 21st century skills are huge, and they have to be prepared for the workforce. And part of the workforce is technology. And to be able to do that well, they need to have courses and to be exposed to different things. Prior to that, there was no exposure to these robotics and the waves of the future. So I think that was the biggest goal for me, was to bring some technology, and CMU, how could you argue with that? It's the best in any type of university level, so we're very blessed to have that in our school district.
Yeah, the goals for me, it was just to really show the kids what's out there, you know, what could really happen with the 21st century skills that they could learn. And you can learn all you want about programming, and you can go into business, and you can be a really good business programmer. But you know, that's only one side of it. There's a whole other side to computer science, and you know, I wanted to expose students to that.
How difficult would this project have been to execute had the grant not been received?
Well, the grant covered the majority of the cost for these courses. It included the curriculum, it included the training for the teachers, and then it's expanded to even put it in cross-curricular. So really, this grant covered the cost of this new course. So it's opened so many horizons to us, and I'm not saying we couldn't have done it as a district, but it always helps when things are free and when people are excited about it. So that's the grant will just open so many doors for us.
Is there anything else that we may not have covered related to this grant or process that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I think last year Mr. Mulroy was, for STEM robotics, was recognized at the state level because of this initiative that he did. So I am going to share that with him and kind of boast for him. So last year he was honored because of this initiative. So his hard work has paid off, and the state has seen that he has been recognized for it as well.
Wow.
Is there anything else either of you would like to add for the benefit of our viewers?
No, I'd just like to thank the foundation, because if we didn't have them, this would not have been possible. And Mr. Mulroy, because without his ideas and initiative and cooperation, the collaborative work wouldn't have paid off.
Yeah, same. I'd like to thank the foundation, Dr. Zukowski, and you guys for putting on this show. It really is fantastic.
Thanks.
Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Patrick Malroy, a teacher here in the Armstrong School District, and Dr. Shauna Braun Zukowski, an administrator in the district. Both were involved in the writing of the grant that helped bring the robotics course to ASD.
Our thanks go out to the TV production students at Katanning High School, led by their teacher, Mr. Don Swanson. They were our film crew today. Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for the updated information about the district, and have a great week. Bye.
Welcome to Education Today. I'm Courtney Edwards
And I'm Blake Davis.
of Katanning High School in the Armstrong School District. Cell phones have become a huge part of everyday life, especially for students. With the increased usage of cell phones comes an increase in the number of potential consequences. Tonight, we are going to discuss the students' perspective on cell phone usage and their use while in school. With us tonight, we have two of our AHS-TV production students. Welcome to Education Today. Would you please introduce yourselves and tell us what year you are in?
I'm Lucian Holian, and I'm a junior at Katanning Senior High School.
I'm Kiara Ebig, and I'm a senior at Katanning High School.
Thanks. I just have some questions for you. How long have you had a cell phone?
I got my first cell phone back in 8th grade.
I got my first cell phone back in 7th grade.
Do you currently own a smartphone?
Nope,
Yes, I do.
I do not.
All right. Do you use your phone in school?
I try not to, but if my mom texts me and I have to pick something up, I will. Take it out, send her a quick message back.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I do use it from time to time. Not when the teacher is trying to explain something to me, but when, there's nothing really to do and I'm not paying attention really, yeah, I will use my smartphone.
All right. I think we all can say that we've done that.
Yeah.
Do you use your phone to help you in class sometimes? If you do, give me a few examples.
I've used my phone to help me in class sometimes. If, I get a question from my dad about something we're doing in Power Tech, but that's probably the only time. That was a one-time thing.
Yeah, I don't really use my phone in class for school purposes.
You never use it for like a calculator or anything?
No, I do. I use it for a calculator, but that's about it. I never really looked up anything for a test.
Do you think that it's fair that only some people can use them just because of the prices?
I think that if we are allowed to have cell phones in school, I don't think it would be quite fair because I'd be giving a higher advantage to kids that have smartphones compared to kids that don't. Kids without the cell phones would have to do more work and have to use more school resources than the kids with the smartphones. So I think it would be unfair.
It's true.
Would you please repeat the question?
Do you think that it's fair that only some people can use them in school just because of the price if we were allowed to use them in school?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't have much to talk about on that topic.
All right. Do you think that the use of smartphones could help you improve your grades if you were able to find different resources and like apps on your phone?
If I had a smartphone and I was able to look up questions and I was allowed to use it, I would. But I don't think it'd be fair to the other kids, but I'd still do it just to help myself.
I agree. I would do that too. But I do have a smartphone, but at the same time I don't do that, so.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District's Education Today.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name's Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. We're talking about cell phone usage in schools from the student's perspective. What are some reasons why students should not be allowed to have smartphones in school?
It would be a distraction. When the teacher's teaching, they'd take them out, be looking, playing games, surfing the web, instead of paying attention to what the teacher's saying.
I agree, and I feel that it's rude. The teacher's there to teach you and you're there to listen, and if you're playing with your smartphone, then how are you supposed to listen and give your full attention?
Do you think that the use of cell phones in school would help or hinder students?
They could help students in school. They'll be able to look at questions, look them up if they're doing a book report and they don't have access to the computer at the time. They could look up information to help them.
I agree with that, but at the same time, what about the people who don't have smartphones and they don't have a computer at the time? Then what are they supposed to do?
Do you feel that more students abuse smartphones rather than help with their learning?
I can see it both ways. I have seen students using their cell phones a lot to help them in school, but at the same time, I can see students messing around on them.
I think that students mess around on their phones more than using them to help them in school. Like, would you rather go on Twitter or would you rather use a calculator?
If cell phones were no longer banned, do you think that students will still abuse their phones?
I believe that if cell phones were no longer banned, I believe there'd be more abuse of cell phones. There'd be no risk of losing your cell phone and getting it taken away. So there'd be more opportunities for you to abuse.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you're not allowed to, but at the same time, if you're not allowed to do something, then you're going to do it. But if you are allowed to do something, then it's not going to be something to not do, so you won't do it.
In order to keep up with today's society, do you think more school districts should allow the use of smartphones for educational purposes?
I think that in some classes, the use of cell phones would help, like physics or chemistry or some of the higher classes. They're faster than the computers we have in school.
I agree with that. And there also is a lot of sites on the computers at school that you can't go on that have more information. And on your smartphone, you can go on any site you want.
Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guest, Kiara and Lucian, for taking the time to talk us about the usage of cell phones in school. Our thanks go out to the TV production students of Katanning High School, led by their teacher, Mr. Dawn Swanson. They were our film crew today. Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district, and have a great week.